So, did you know that 2/3 of steroid users start before turning 16? And here's a reason why.
Steroids? Really?
Good bodybuilders have the same mind.
You keep seeing people online, the guys that are shredded to the bone, veins like garden hoses, strength going through the roof, or girls with sculpted bodies pushing SARMs with discount codes. But no one's talking about the aftermath. You know, this video is not about judging these people, it's about education. Because what you're not being told is the price you might pay for the short-term results.
There are no shortcuts.
And it could cost you far more than just likes. And what happens when the promise of a perfect body comes with a perilous price. And today we're exposing steroids, the brutal reality, from shattered hormones to life-threatening consequences. And if you or someone you love is tempted by quick gains, stick around, the truth might just change everything. Now let's talk about the allure of these quick results. Imagine looking jacked in just weeks and no longer years of grinding that's usually required. That's the illusion that steroids sell.
Steroids, Brian.
And young guys see influencers with unreal physiques and assume that steroids are the shortcut. But this toxic shortcut can lead to a dead end. Now, research has shown that 4 to 11% of male high school students try steroids, often pressured by social media's impossible standards. They're chasing respect, admiration, even love, but steroids can't rewire or rewrite your genetics. And some users never achieve their dream physique, while others pay a very steep price for temporary gains. Now, the risks aren't theoretical. A science study direct found that 2/3 of users start by the age of 16 and young bodies facing adult consequences. The National Institute of Drug Abuse has warned of the heart attacks, the liver tumours, kidney failure, and even seemingly healthy users. Now, what is this hidden health catastrophe that we need to discuss? That steroids and SARMs are being glamorized and normalized online. And if you're young, impressionable, and desperate for results, they seem like a shortcut because people want results in weeks now.
Steroids?
No longer after the years and years that we know is needed if you're a natural athlete. But these aren't just supplements, they're pharmaceutical agents with real lasting consequences. Now, let me take you back to when I was younger. I sure was tempted. I was seeing people get huge fast, that pressure, the comparison, the thought of, well, maybe if I just gave it a go and did one cycle. But what stopped me was a raw and honest conversation with someone who'd actually been there and took it in the gym. He told me about the shutdown of his natural testosterone, the depression post-cycle, the gut issues that occurred, the acne, the gynecomastia, the liver enzymes being raised, his fertility crash. This was someone that was tracking his labs regularly, so he knew the insights that most do not actually do. Most people don't run blood work with him. And the fact that he couldn't even function without the needle anymore kind of put me off. And I was
Not worth it!
It was like the biggest wake-up call I had. It hit me so hard and it stuck with me since then. And now I feel like it's a message that I need to pass on to other people. And then let's look at what the science and research has shown. So if we break down what he's saying to us about steroids and SARMs. Now, a 2021 meta-analysis in the Journal of Internal Medicine found that long-term steroid use is associated with cardiomyopathy, LV hypertrophy, elevated LDL cholesterol, and reduced HDL cholesterol, which significantly can increase cardiovascular risk. Not just this, a 2017 study in The Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology linked anabolic androgenic steroid use to hypogonadism, infertility and testicular atrophy, and psychiatric disorders including aggression, mania, and mood instability. Then when we look at SARMs, which are selective androgen receptor modulators, these are initially developed for muscle wasting disorders, but many are not approved for human use. And research published in JAMA found SARMs contaminated with unlisted steroids and endocrine disruptors. And this is the thing that people don't actually know what they're buying when they're buying them off black market dealers online. SARMs like LGD4033 and RAD140 have shown liver enzyme elevation, suppressed natural testosterone, and unclear long-term safety in human trials. Now, these are true hidden costs. that that no one's really talking about or posting about online because it's not seen as cool or sexy. It exposes a bit of a taboo. The fertility treatments to try and have kids that are needed, the suicidal crashes after PCT cycling, the liver support protocols and endless blood tests and anxiety over long-term health. Not only this, the endocrine damage that may not fully recover from if you've been on the cycle doing them. People chasing bodies for strangers who don't care about their well-being. And then what is the actual worst part? Well, even with results, it's never enough because you're feeding this insecurity model with a chemical solution that doesn't fix the root causes to why you're chasing this ideal of a perfect body in the first instance. And this is why I think this needs to be said, and we need to have this conversation with especially kids in school, is there is a wave of young men and women being influenced by people who are using enhancements and not being completely transparent about using them, selling supplements while hiding the fact that they're actually on a chemical-based compound stack that isn't the supplements that they're actually claiming the benefits to, then creating impossible standards without showing the sacrifice from it. And if you're considering SARMs or steroids, ask yourself, am I fixing the foundation or am I masking the cracks? I'm not here to demonize you guys, and I'm not here to slam you. I'm here to give you the full picture because this conversation needs to be had. You can build muscle, you can optimize your hormones, and you can look and feel great without shutting down your own biology. It just takes more time. But you can keep your health, you keep your fertility, your stability, your future. Those things you can't get back once you lose them. Now, when we talk about this trap of addiction and regret, steroids rewire the body and mind, and the National Institute of Drug Abuse confirms that users develop substance disorders, contributing and continuing health risks. And what begins as a choice becomes a trap. Now, when your natural testosterone shuts down, quitting means facing depression, fatigue, and losing your hard-earned progress from the training. There was one story of a powerlifter that I came across that after stopping, and his muscles faded and his energy vanished, his confidence then crumbled. His friends drifted away from him because of the mood swings, and the gym that was his sanctuary became a really sour reminder. Now, this isn't just research or unique. It's shown in the Oceania journals. It links to withdrawal to severe mood swings, aggression and depression, and many users keep taking steroids not for the gains but to function, kind of like drug users become dependent on other opioids and drugs. And then the psychological grip mirrors the physical one. Quitting triggers depression, so intense it drives users back, and a vicious cycle then of using to build muscle and using more to avoid crashing. Even short cycles can disrupt your hormones for months, and the NHS is listed on their website with anxiety, insomnia and crippling fatigue. And then when we look at SARMs that are marketed as, safer, they create the identical dependency. They suppress natural testosterone, causing hormonal imbalances, and users chasing safe gains end up with low estrogen and stalled progress. So there's no cheat code. Anything that alters your hormones has drastic consequences. This temporary high fades fast and it leaves the body hooked on synthetic hormones and a mind fighting withdrawal. Long-term users can risk irreversible heart, liver damage, kidney damage, and many can't quit because of the fear of losing the gains, looking weak, and it keeps them trapped. And then social media exacerbates this, to stay and meet the standards and stay on a cycle. Steroid addiction lacks a dramatic rock bottom, but just a slow grind of declining health, and users can rationalise, just one more cycle, but the recovery gets harder over time, and some never regain their natural testosterone production. There's many stories of people that can't have kids now because of it. And most regret starting because your muscle will fade, but the health risks will remain, and the psychological scars will remain too. And it turns this dedication into fear or withdrawal without admitting that it wasn't worth it. Real progress comes from consistency. And even though steroids are a short-term gain,
Quick fix.
for a long-term damaged body, unfortunately, mind and future, the cycle's unavoidable. You don't need synthetic hormones to be strong. Focus on your sustainable habits, your performance, and confidence that doesn't depend on a tablet or a needle. And listening to people that have been there, get their insight, get their experience, because you only get one roll of the dice in life, and you want to live it to your healthiest and happiest potential. That doesn't require a shortcut. Now, skipping these shortcuts and focus on your periodized training, your proper nutrition, quality recovery, track your progress, stay consistent, work with a coach if you're not sure, have an accountability partner. The best physiques aren't built overnight or in weeks, they're built to last over a lifetime. Your health is the most precious asset you own. It's not your bench press PR, it's not your shredded abs, it's your health. Drop the ego, that's what matters more. And if you want to build your body and performance the right way, the science, the testing, the support, the best thing I can suggest is, if you've liked this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be dropping more insights like this. By all means, like and comment on the video. And just as a final reminder, if you know someone or yourself that's tempted to go down the shortcut route, send them this, watch this back. Don't chase the fake wins. Build something that lasts you for your lifetime, because, as I've said previously, you only get one roll of these dice, and you only appreciate your health when you lose it. And playing with something such as these exogenous compounds that promise the world and could bring some results, they're no free lunch at all. There's always a risk involved, and unfortunately a lot of people aren't speaking about the risks online. So I'm very grateful that I never decided to do them, because I've seen people around me do them and it's had some serious consequences for them, and I envied the way they looked when they were doing it. And now I'm still going strong, I'm still in the gym, I'm still training, I'm still healthy, and they're struggling because they've got health challenges. So yeah, bosh, don't do it.